Hi, this is Duke.
And this is Shirley.
And this is Steve.
And you are listening to the iWalter Show.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Yeah, it's me. It's Walter. iWalter. Yeah, I guess it's me. You know what? I just don't even know what to do tonight, honestly. I kind of have an idea, but I'm not sure how far I can take this tonight. So I apologize. I'm just a little bit, I'm not really with it tonight. Not that I ever am, but tonight I'm actually not. It's actually Tuesday morning, 2:30, and it is August 9th. I just feel, and I have this feeling, folks, that it's gonna be a fast week because I'm not going to be there on Friday. I'm going to actually only be there till Thursday at my job. I'm taking off Friday to go to this Sabrina Carpenter concert, and I'm going to be very embarrassed. I'm telling you right now. It's bad enough when I was on the show with my friend Matt that I was saying the name of that freaking thing wrong for the entire time. Didn't even realize it. Calling it Musket Fest instead of Music Fest. So I do screw up a lot. I know that, but I don't know. So, and I found out tonight, I'm glad she brought it to my attention. I kind of don't care, but I'm glad she still brought it to my attention. My one friend, my coworker and friend at work, she was on different jobs or whatever, doing different things, and we haven't been working together. It's the first time in about 2 or 3 weeks. So hey, that's cool. But she told me, she said, "Hey, Walter, one of your shows, I tried to listen to it on YouTube. Apparently, she can't even get it on her cell phone anymore. I don't know what's wrong with my shows, but." Now, I always put down, I'll just let you know, I constantly, for a good reason, I constantly mark them as being, trying to think, explicit, because I use a lot of profanity sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Depends what kind of mood I'm in. And you know what? As a general rule of thumb, I'll just put them all as explicit, because it's just a way of protecting myself in case I say something I'm not supposed to. Meaning profanity, not anything else. I'm just saying profanity. And by doing so, they can't say, because like generally, what do you see explicit, labels, stickers? You see it on music. So that's where I kind of, hey, they have it on there for, hey, if you say, I guess to cover your ass, you let people know. But unfortunately, I think that also kind of cuts my audience back a lot too. So I never have a really large audience, but unfortunately, sometimes I don't have any at all. But I'd rather just have that safety net, so to speak, putting up that it's explicit. So I'm flying solo tonight, so let's let you know if you haven't noticed yet, and I'm fine with that. I do want to get certain guests. I was actually thinking would be a good idea. I ran it past somebody, but I never heard back. I don't expect to get responses from people, even friends. I said it would probably be a pretty good idea. I think they would like that. I go to this barbershop in Norristown called Sal's Barbershop. It's a bunch of younger guys, some actually one was really young. I was like a teenage kid, and he cut my hair really well. So I'm going to look up the name of this place. But I actually, quite honestly, I like them. And, they do, for the most part, they cut hair very well. So, I'm like, tempted to ask, hey, guys, if you'd like to, because I usually go on a Sunday anyway. Maybe perhaps if you'd like me to, I can just stop by at least one of the guys, because I only have 2 mic sets anyway. And just shoot the crap, shoot the shit with them. See, there we go. Maybe they would like that, It gives them a little bit of a, can't even think of the right word. Let me pop it in right now. I think it's Sal's. Because they have a Facebook page, too. So, because it made me think of even talking about it again. I did have in the back of my head of like, hey, man, I'll just do a podcast with these guys. Because one of the guys has his own personal web page with his wife. Again, these are young guys. And then they have another one for the barbershop business they have. And hey, here we go. Sal's Barbershop, 1011 Germantown Pike, Plymouth Median. The phone number is 484-688-4199. Open 7 days a week, which they are, which is great, but their hours are actually not that great for me most of the time, because I ran into some difficulties. I was going there all the time because they were open pretty late, even on the weekends. Not like late, but, a decent time. And then I kind of changed. So unfortunately, it just made it more difficult for me to always go to them. So I ended up going to other barbers. Now, the one guy actually took photos of my hair, and I'm looking at it now to see, but it never went up. So either of those photos were just that horrendous, or they just got enough photos already they didn't need any more. Or they just kind of pick and choose which ones they want to keep. I mean, they do all types of haircuts. I think they're really cool. Yeah, it says closed now, but they got a perfect rated. I mean, yeah, they got people from all around the area that actually come in, all different types of ages. But, it's funny, believe it or not, and their prices aren't that bad. It's like $15 for a haircut. That's not bad, trust me. And they got like beverages, beer, everything you'd want there. Again, God, I might as well just do a show with him. So I might ask him. I might just throw the stuff in my car next time I get a haircut. Say, you know what, guys, I've been wanting to do this with you. One of you guys, they probably have to run it past the main guy. And he's young too. He's really young. Sundays are my best, though. So I don't know what their days. Probably during the week, they would probably be more happy to do this. But I'll give it to them. I look, and they actually have a very nice web page now, like an official web page. It says Sal's Haircuts Barbershop. It was a bunch of older guys that owned the place, and I guess a family member had taken over. So it's Salvatore. I should know this because that's Italian, the last name. Danny Torres. He always cuts my hair. I'm sorry if I'm not mentioning his name right. I'm just going to go by their first names. I can't go wrong. Tim and Jim. But these guys are very young. They're entertaining just to listen to them talk, and they're cool guys. Wow, they're even selling merchandise now. Well, at least their shirts. That's pretty cool. And a hat. Wow. So, let them know, these guys, that I did a plug for their show. And I didn't do it intentionally. It's just, hey, I kind of like these guys. These are very cool. But what they have on their webpage, by the way, is, I think, the prices, again, they're not bad at all. Regular haircut is haircut, hot towel, massage, and razor sharp neckline, which they do that, $15. Add $3 for shampoo, and it says VIP treatment, haircut, hot towel, beard trim, or full shave, massage. I don't know what a massage is. They never really gave me one. That's cool, though. Razor sharp neckline. Everything else is right in shoe shine for $20. These guys are really trying hard, and I like to see them succeed. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. Hot towel and full shave, $10. Shoe shine, $5. Shave in logos and design. So they do that. They make insignias or whatever you call it, like logos in the back of people's heads. Like the kids love that. They actually did that theme from Cars. I think it's Nader No, Nader's the truck, though. But the main car in Cars, that cartoon movie, they actually did in the back of the kid's head. It looked really cool, though. And they do, like, schools, football teams, whatever you want. That's $10. So that's not bad, in addition to your regular haircut. So, because that takes a little time. They actually do it pretty well, too. Actually, not pretty well. I'd have to say very well. I mean, it's kind of like, honestly, in my opinion, it's like again, I'm going to try to do a show with these guys. I think it'd be entertaining. Kind of like a sports bar, but it's actually a barbershop, but it's got that same theme of like a sports bar. And I think they did one, not these guys, but there's this thing where they have these hot chicks to cut your hair, but they probably don't know how to cut hair. I'm just joking. I don't know. But they're really expensive. I can't remember Knockouts or something. I can't remember. I'm not going to even bother looking for it. Yeah, there's the one with the car from Cars. That kid's got to be ecstatic. They actually dyed his hair or whatever. It's probably not permanent, obviously. The car in his head, and they like shaved it in. Yeah, that kid's got to be, what do you call it? One guy got the Nike emblem on his head. I'm looking at him now. But they do any type of hairstyle. If you want some really bizarre one, somebody's got the Villanova logo on their head. I'm not much. Wow, that actually is impressive. I think it's Penn State with the cat. Is that Penn State? I can't remember. They did that actually. These guys, like they are good at their craft. They actually do a really good job. So, I'm trying to see. Some of them I don't recognize, but they've done some pretty cool stuff. Wow, this one kid actually got Iron Man on his head. So, they do some very unique things, but overall, it's very cool. Yeah, it's Bronco logo. That one looks actually very impressive. I don't know how they did it, but they actually did it in the kid's hair. Mine's just a basic high and tight. They call it skin to fade. It's a military haircut. That's always what I get. And these kids, mine's probably the most basic one to do, but they actually do a really good job. So, I actually have to ask this if anybody responds back, which normally they don't. But they got this one photo on here. I want to know how to do this. A friend of a friend, Monty, does this, where you get a picture and you make it look all black and white, but then you have certain parts that are in color. And he did it with one of these photos for Sal's, and it looks really cool. And I want to know how to do that, though. Yeah, I'm just kind of running down their webpage, by the way. You can find them on Facebook. I'm sure they're on Twitter, too, also. But, yeah, this is better than the fucking bar. There's like a bar next door, and it's a typical bar. But this is like better because they got the, hey, I'm not in the sports, but they got the games all going on, different sports games. Not all the same one. They got different games. Their fridge, like, I don't drink beer either, but let's see what it says. Now, get this. I don't know how these guys make any money because they're pampering these people, us, the customer, so well that I don't know how they stay in stock. They got a stock full of beverages, including beer. It says free beer, free, because my one friend Todd always makes a joke with his brother Paul. At Sal's Barbershop, haircuts are $15. Come in and enjoy the beer, the snack, and the complimentary 3 flat screen playing sports 24/7. Well, that means when they're open. They don't have it on when they're not there. All while you're getting the sharpest haircut, massage, and shoe shine in the area. The VIP treatment, hot towel, straight razor, neckline, and massage, and with every service. They kind of cut back a little bit. They never really did a quote-unquote a massage. But you know what? I don't care because their business is really good. They did have a thing you can actually request, like, hey, I want to be in at this certain time. I'm running late. They charge like $3, I think. So if you really are cutting, like, hey, I got to be somewhere, but I want to get my hair looking sharp before I go to a concert or a wedding, this is a place to go. Again, it's 1011 Germantown Pike, Plymouth Mead in PA. It's like if you're going towards the Plymouth Mead Mall on Germantown Pike, you're pretty much, it's way before them, but it's going in that direction. Well, you're probably saying, well, what if I'm coming from Philly? Well, yeah, then I shouldn't say that. But if you're coming from, like, I'm trying to think, not even East Norton. I'm trying to think. It's not far from the Plymouth Mead Mall, I'll tell you that much. It's a little bit, I think it's not too far from actually, trying to think of it now. An EMT / an ambulance bay, not too far from there. It's at the shopping center, though. It's a strip mall. But, yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, I give these guys credits. I mean, some days they're pretty bored, I guess, because their business is not that hot, especially during the summertime. But I'm looking what they stock in their fridge besides the beer. Gatorade. I mean, this stuff's free for people if they want it. I mean, I don't know how to stay in business. That costs a lot of money. Coke, Diet Coke, Arizona iced tea, basically cheaper pop. But I'm telling you, I think it's incredible. I mean, I just hope these guys stay around for a long time. Because they really, they actually, I didn't realize this. They actually gutted out the place and refurnished it. Like, I was in there to get a haircut when it was the old barbershop, and it was all right. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but I wasn't too impressed. I never went back again. But when Sal moved in there, this guy Sal, young guy, it was like, I was very impressed by it. It was like, wow, this is like really cool. So, and the guys are very friendly. They remember your face. If they don't remember your name, they remember your face. And that's more than I can say for myself. I'll tell you that much. So, the more I think of it, they really modernized the place too from what it looked like. It's not easy, and I hope these guys stay around. I'm just going to let them know. If you don't mind, I'll do a podcast for you guys. So anyway, there you go. How much? I'm looking at my time, see how much time I wasted. It's not even wasting. It's not that. I really don't have much on my plate. I did want to mention, but people are going to get really bored of me talking about this because, when I'm stuck on something, on a topic, I just don't get off of it literally for almost like a year or so. So nobody's going to want to hear about what I'm going to mention, which is Suicide Squad for the next year. They're going to say, God, this guy's bad, but he's gotten worse. So anyway, it didn't dawn on me till now, and I'm kind of like thinking because I like for as far as checking ratings on films and everything like that. Now I'm kind of reconsidering now because it's like the main source I've been using for quite a while is Rotten Tomatoes. Now Rotten Tomatoes gave Suicide Squad like a really bad rating. Not the worst. There's actually a new one that's even worse than Suicide Squad. And then it made me kind of dawned on me, maybe these people are a little bit on the left-hand side on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, Rotten Tomatoes basically is just a source that looks at different, critics, and they put up all the different critics' reviews, and then they come up with a conclusion off of that. But what are most of your critics, though? I'm not going to ream Rotten Tomatoes, but somewhere it kind of just set off a red flag for me. Most of these critics are, pro-democratic, and anything that will offend, the Democratic side, they're not going to like. And why I'm saying this, and I think this may tie into Suicide Squad, because they did have a little bit of a poke on the side in the film with one of the characters that was a little bit political. I think it was maybe an unintentional dig. And it got the worst ratings. And I'm just wondering, I mean, somebody just really actually, just not someone, but it seems like a lot of these critics do have it out for, DC Comics for some reason. And unfortunately, we live in a society that everything basically trickles down to politics. When it comes to the silver screen, you could make, if you're a real left radical libertarian who is, I'm trying to think, a socialist, and you make a movie that is a total dog shit. Like, I mean, it's like beyond crap. Something that you would walk out after 2 seconds, but you got all these other ingredients, like you're in your mind frame, like you're a person who believes in socialism and basically tax the rich even more so, and don't believe in equality but inequality. And you make some piece of crap of a film, I would guarantee you, this is my way of thinking, that most people will say, oh, well, this film is like the best thing since sliced bread. You should go out and see this. This is like going to win a Oscar, or it's going to be up for an Oscar nomination because it's such a great film. Basically, just because of what these people stand for. And I'm beginning to see this might be what it is. And even if you throw like a subtle hint in the wrong direction that is anti-Democrat, you're fucked. That's the bottom line. So that being said, I recommend it because I like to go to films to be entertained. I don't need to go to a film unless it's really good. And even then, I just really don't have the, because movies are expensive. I'm sorry. When I was growing up, God, I'm using that terminology now. When I was growing up, films were like $3, $3.25, $3.50 to go to a regular movie. Not even the matinee. It was $3 Now it's like anywhere between 10 and 15, and even with those big, large cinematic screens over in King of Prussia, IMAX, $20 and up. I heard as high as like $30 for a film. So, I mean, I think that's just ridiculous. You could buy the fucking DVD and watch it, or Blu-ray at home. And if you want to see in 3D, it's got a freaking 3D set. I mean, but that's just ridiculous. So here's a film I've heard, from people who think the same way I do. Who like this film that's not Suicide Squad, by the way. I'm just going to let you know. But it's actually Hillary's America, which I didn't realize. I looked it up because a friend said maybe you can rent it, my friend Matt. So I looked it up. You can't rent it, but it's actually based upon a book with the same name. So I looked on Rotten Tomatoes. That came up. And I don't even think I was looking for it on Rotten Tomatoes. I just wanted to see the name of the movie. I forgot the name of it. But it's called Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democratic Party. So my friend, I told him, hey, you should watch, as I heard a lot about this. The guy who actually made the film, this director, was actually, he was on Rush Limbaugh. He was talking to Rush, not like live, but he was live. But I mean, Rush never has anybody in the studio, so basically they converse over the phone. And it was like, yeah, I wanted to go see it. I was kind of curious, but there's some other films. Again, the fact that movies are so expensive, I'd rather just be entertained by them. I don't need to see them on the big screen. This one I was considering. I'm definitely reconsidering. Don't get me wrong. I may actually just want to see because I saw it pre-opening night. I may want to actually see Suicide Squad just one more time. Because I actually did enjoy that. But that's going to be most of my show tonight, probably. I don't know yet, because I'm actually almost, first quarter of my show is actually, or first half of my show is almost over. So anyway, I looked this up, and I pulled up Rotten Tomatoes. Again, it's all different critics. And guess what Hillary's America got as far as a rating on the tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes? So I kind of treat that like the Holy Bible to me, believe it or not, for film work, I mean. Not for religion, but for film work. 4%, and it wasn't even fresh. 4% critics' consensus? No. Consensus yet. So it got like the shittiest rating, but yet this film is actually considered, it's a documentary film on Hillary Clinton and also the Democratic Party. Well, one thing, the audience score was 84%, and that was a solid 84%. And it's made actually a decent amount of money. Not a lot, but it's not going to like break any records, and it's not going to make $100 million. But for a documentary film, which generally they don't make that much money. I mean, you're talking a documentary film. And, I remember this guy talking about the specifics slightly, I remember, because it was like last week or the week before I was on Rush Limbaugh. Now, my friend told me he just saw it last night, and he says, oh, you got to see this. You have to see this. He said, there was so much I learned from watching this film. See, I was misled at first because I seen Hillary's America, and I thought, okay, this is a pro movie for Hillary. No, it's against Hillary. It's a anti-Hillary movie. So, as I said, anything that goes against the Democratic Party, even in entertaining film, this is more of a documentary, you're fucked. You're not gonna make it. You're screwed. So my show's a lot about politics, so I'm sure that kind of contributes. So it did make like hand over fist of money, but for considering what the movie was about, and again, it got like the worst reviews. It got 4% as not a fresh film. 4%. It's actually done very well. So again, I'm considering this one because I know I heard about it, and when I heard it on Rush Limbaugh, I was like, okay, I definitely got to check this out. Because there is a lot of scandal going on with this election. Now, it'd be interesting. Some people are thinking that maybe Donald Trump will be forced or decide that he's had enough and he'll just drop out and basically hand it over to Hillary, which that wouldn't happen because what would happen, I think my friend told me this or I heard this on Rush, then they have to find somebody else to run for the Republican Party. And at this point in time, they'd probably be more. The Republican Party would probably be more than willing to do that because they just don't like Trump. But as far as people who, like myself, are just fed up with everything that has to deal with politics, we're like most of us, not all of us, but most of us are just so fed up that we are so willing, to give him a chance, and look past all this BS and propaganda of how he's such a screw-up and he's a loose cannon. That's all you ever hear about. You never hear anything negative, and this is true, about Hillary Clinton, President Barack Obama. You never hear one thing negative about them. They are like walking on the top, walking on water. Like they are the holy grail, both those people. And the other ones on the Democratic side, they can't bring it to themselves to say, these people from the press and the media to say that these people are total fuck-ups. They will never say that. And no matter how perfect a Republican will be, if it's Bush, Ronald Reagan, or even if it does come down to Donald Trump, they will always find more fault in these, like they did with his predecessors, than they will find anything that he's actually done right. Like everything he's, that Trump would do or is doing to become president, it's not right. No, this is not right. No, you're just a fuck up. They don't even give the man a fucking chance. And they already are like starting, I think I heard on Rush, which I've seen myself, they blame the fucking man for everything. He hasn't even been in office yet, and he's getting blamed for things he has no control over. So to me, that's ridiculous. So why I thought about this, yeah, and there's I try to look it up. I basically did. I think I found it because I did a Google search, and there's a page on about Hillary's America. So I actually would like to see it, but I got some other stuff too I wanted to discuss, even bring up, especially about the Suicide Squad. But I want to make sure before I do that, I get kind of all this other stuff out of the way, which is not much. Trust me, I got like literally probably a handful of stories, like 5 or 6. Well, there's no 6 fingers on one hand, but you get my drift. Yeah, and oh, okay. It was actually what brought this to mind was the whole thing with Jarrad Leto in Suicide Squad. Now, I got to go back to my Facebook page because this was what actually got me started thinking about this. I'm going to try to stay focused because it's very hard for me. I'm always... Okay, here we go. It was from Daily Bugle Spidey. And it says, Jarrad Leto had 15 minutes of screen time in Suicide Squad. No more, no less. He had the same amount of screen time as Heath Ledger, who had 30 minutes, but was cut down to 15 for a theater cut. And we know what that really means. Because that movie was a little over 2 hours, so it was less than Batman versus Superman. The reason they did that was because obviously the character that Jarrad Leto played, because he is a method actor, was so intense, they basically butchered out most of his stuff because it was just way too intense. And to get that rating down to that PG-13 that they tried so hard to get, the only way they could do that was basically butchering out everything that Jarrad Leto might have done. Case in point, enough to make the judgment call of his performance, so stop making excuses. Jarrad Leto addresses the Joker's screen time in Suicide Squad. It says MXDWN movies. I don't know what that abbreviation means. Hot News, James Tish, August 5th, 2016. There's one thing, by the way, real quick. People were so pissed off by this whole shenanigans. They're actually thinking of, I don't know how that would work, Ed. I don't think it really would, but people actually now want to sue Warner Brothers for cutting Jarrad Leto's part down to next to Neil. Now, that has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. I totally understand this, the Hillary Clinton movie. But what came to realization, because I've seen the film. I saw it on Thursday. I saw it the day before it came out. And by the way, that movie got the worst ratings, but I think nationwide, it made $135 million. It actually did probably much better than they expected to do. But overall, it said it made $267.1 million. So that was much more than anything. This is across the planet. It made $267.1 million. So that's, by next week, that movie's not going to make that much. I know that for a fact. It's just going to drop because it's kind of like the situations in the movie, the whole thing. It's just, I just can feel it's not going to do that well. It's going to drop off pretty quickly. But the thing was, I think it backfired for the meeting, the press, by the way. They figured we badmouth this movie enough, it's going to make so many people just so disinterested in wanting to see it, they won't go see it. Well, that didn't work because actually there were so many people who went and seen that film that it Rude Awakening, it backfired. So, and honestly, I was quite happy that, it did not turn out in their favor. We're going to make this so bad for people that they're not going to want to go see it. And I know I went off on a little bit of a side note, a very far side note. But the thing was, I saw this film. And the one character was, I can't remember her name. I mentioned it the other day. Now I have to go through and figure out who she was. If I find it, I'll let you know. But if I don't, I'll just let you know it's the black woman who played their boss. She worked for the government. Some reason, I just have a feeling that particular character, she was very crooked. Like Crooked Hillary. Now, seriously, she was very crooked, very corrupt, and she did whatever she needed to do, which would even include kill innocent people just to get the job done. And not even think, she was basically, it was one part where she was completely ruthless. So you may see where I'm going with this. I hope that, okay, you got all this corruption in government right now, and it's definitely coming from the left. And then you have this woman who, this black woman who basically, there's one scene, she just basically doesn't think twice. Well, it's like we can't keep any open ends. So she had all these people, people that were working under this secret mission for the government, secret mission, that she said, okay, we need to shut down now, but we can't afford to let them live. So she basically just shoots them all, like for no reason at all, besides the fact that, well, hey, we can't let these people, even though they were working for us in the government, we can't take the risk. So, and the one guy, it just writes it off. Like, I forget which character it was. It might have been Deadshot, who was played by Will Smith. I think it was Will Smith. I can't remember. He looks at this and is like, we're supposed to be the fucking bad guys. We're the ones who have no heart. We're ruthless. But yet, our own government is heartless enough, bad enough, that they're using us to do their dirty work because we're expendable. But yet, they don't flinch to kill innocent people because they feel like this might jeopardize their image. And that's what it comes down to. Now, I might be not doing a good analysis of what I saw in the film, but don't you think something as small as that would be enough just to have people, like critics, say, wait a minute, because I've seen less than that in films, that's all they need to see, these critics who, thrive on the left and this other stuff, and they say, wow, hey, if you put anything like slightly political, because, look at these films like, I'm going to just use this one because I really don't know. Black Hawk Down was one, I think. And there was the other one about Benghazi, which came out. Do you hear much about those films? No. Do you think it got probably good reviews? Honestly, I don't know because I haven't looked at it lately. I bought that Benghazi film just for the sake of owning it, but I did it for the sole fact that it was anti-Hillary. But do you think films like that, the critics are going to say, you know what, this film is so incredible, it goes against what my political belief is, I'm just going to let that go, and I'm going to give this a great rating? Fuck no, they're not. I'm telling you right now. So, this one's got a lot of the F-bombs going off. So, putting even in a superhero movie, God, if you make a film, I would think, which they really don't push it that far yet, because I'm thinking of like Captain America, which would definitely be, pro-American. But you know what? That's the thing. The Democrats have even twisted that whole shenanigans also, if you think about it. Like, just to make them look like, wait, we're patriotic. There was something that recently happened where they were, it was at a Hillary campaign. All those people I heard were holding American flags and waving them like, yeah, we're Americans. We believe in America and stuff like that. They said as soon as that was all done, this whole campaign thing, guess what they did with the American flags? They threw them on the ground like a piece of trash. They literally threw the fucking American flags in the trash. So, yeah, they will pull anything to be patriotic. So that was one thing they won't touch. But if you put something that it makes, considering, even though, if I talk to some people and I say, well, most of the people in the House and Senate right now are being taken over by the Republicans. Yeah, just recently, because we voted out most of these people. But that's because we had enough of the BS, the bullshit going on, the way the Democrats were handling everything, which was horrible. Because I mentioned this before. You hear, well, like, oh yeah, it's the Republicans are holding back Obama from getting what he wants. Well, yeah, there's a reason for that too, don't you think? So I'm trying to pull up these characters, by the way. And I'm not really doing a good job, and now my machine's going to take a shit. It's hard to believe. It's almost 40 minutes already. Wow, it went pretty fast. Yeah, it's ready to take a definitely take a shit, so I'm not happy. All I wanted to know, because I can't remember, honestly, but yeah, that main political figure, the black woman who played the main character, bottom line is she was not, like, whatsoever, she was not concerned about America or anything else. It's just a way, for the movie part of it, it was just a way to keep the meta, as they call it, which is actually stealing it from, I'm trying to think. You're basically stealing that from the Marvel comics, to keep the meta-humans under control. But there was more than that. Why would you control, even in a freaking comic book movie, why is it important to control certain people? Well, especially people that had certain powers. Why do you do that? Well, because when you control them, then you make them do what you want them to do. Like you basically manipulate them, which this woman does. She did a really good job. Wow, she looks really incredible, that lady that played the government person in charge of these people. So that's another thing about this film. I mean, there's like little sly things that I think they just did not appreciate. That's the bottom line. It's pretty obvious. And I think that's... I'm looking at some pictures. She really looks hot, too. I realized it's the girl who played Enchantress. And I really do. I'm not I don't really listen to Jarrad Leto's. I know he has a band, his music. He's definitely a good, very good, and excellent, I'm trying to think. I want to say character actor. I said it before, and I can't think. Somebody who actually, does the whole thing to get into a role. Oh, that's what she looks like. Sorry. Finally got to see what the girl looks like. Katana. I didn't know what she looks like without her mask on. Yeah, I'm trying to look for these. I don't know if they give the characters names, but yeah, they don't give them. I'm trying to look for that main woman's, but yeah, I mean, the movie as a whole was okay. It was definitely entertaining, but I think the part that the critics didn't like, it's not that it was a bad film, it's the fact that the way they went about it, for as far as my guess now, why it got such shitty reviews, is that it probably, like, subtly, I mean, if you look at it, most people, like, there's different levels even to that film of V for Vendetta. Now, I always say, I try to explain to people, my friend, I think he just thinks I like this film, which I do. I like it for the film work. I try not to get honestly, I try not to get caught up in all the stupid politics. But you know what? The thing with that, real quick, for V for Vendetta, you got to understand is that film is written by a guy who does, was it Alan Moore? Is it Alan Moore? Who does, he's definitely a political wacko, so to speak, but his mind frame for his issues with the government is more so with England than it is with here. Now, obviously the UK does get involved with our politics. I got to make sure I open this up again. So people don't understand it. Yeah, they do get involved. We get a little bit more, but we don't get as involved probably as they may get involved in our stuff. But for the most, what I see, how I see it, I think even with Alan Moore, his idea is more involved that he doesn't like the way their government is run. So that's the way I see it. and he writes books. He wrote Swamp Thing, believe it or not. He wrote other. He wrote that. You know what? God, they got some really nice pictures on. I wish they had the names for Suicide Squad. So I'm getting distracted now. So I'm going to put in Alan Moore really quick. I'm doing that now. Yeah, Alan Moore. Yeah, he wrote Batman the Killing Joke, which is very dark. From Hell, which actually was made into a movie. Lost Girls. Voice of the Fire. DC Universe. But they're not the ones I'm looking for. I'm trying to think of the movie that book. V for Vendetta was obviously one. But there was another one I thought he did, too. He did do Swamp Thing, by the way. Oh, The Watchmen. So The Watchmen's another one. Yeah, his stuff has got a political stance, but he's more for the graphic novel. He actually wrote one on Spawn Origins, so Spawn's a very big character. So he adds his own twist, but I think the one I'm just, hey, this is my speculation. Please don't take it away from me. That was, by the way, V for Vendetta, the graphic novel, looks like 1989. Yeah, 1989. It's this genre: science fiction, humor, speculative fiction, utopian, and this whatever whatever that word is, fiction. So honestly, my assumption is with Alan Moore, if you look at the movie, and it's about Guy Fawkes, who tried to blow up Parliament, and I guess he got jailed or executed for doing so, because he did so unsuccessfully. Obviously, Parliament, that's England. Now, most people are saying, well, Alan Moore, I don't know. I really don't know, said that he was just a Bush hater, too. Who knows? I really can't tell you either way. I mean, I could do research on it, but I just don't really have the time right now, and I really don't care. I mean, there's certain things that, it just, I mean, the whole thing with the face on V for Vendetta, that's Guy Fawkes, who, why did we break U.S., I mean, what we call America now, why did we break away from England? Because we didn't like the politics or the stance of England and the government, how controlling they were. Now, I'm not saying that this is happening now in the U.S. thanks to Barack Obama, and if we get Hillary, it's going to be more of the same. But all I'm saying is, with V for Vendetta, I think that was more geared towards, I'm not saying the movie was probably more jaded towards U.S., trying to bust on America, but actually, even one person I misconceived in the movie, which really pissed me off at first when I did go to see that film, was I thought there was a direct dig on Rush Limbaugh, but it wasn't. It was against somebody, again, from some other person that is on that other side of the pond, So that's the thing about that. You got to understand, these are movies. They will put some political twists in there. I mean, there's some that are just downright, they are leftist wackos who make these films. And you got those, like, I'm trying to think of his name, because he's doing one on Snowden now. And I didn't know, but more people told me that guy is just, he's a conspiracist. He does everything on this whole idea about conspiracy theory. So, yeah, I mean, I hate to tell you, but that stuff I will stay away from, like the Black Plague. I mean, I'm not that dumb to realize that. But a film that's a cartoon movie, most of the time, I would say that is not my issue. Like, I don't see it. Now, they do put some political twists. I think a little bit more than, not like a lot, but there was definitely some subtle hints, I think, in Suicide Squad. And another reason I'm bringing that up again is because I think this is probably why critics wouldn't like it. Because, again, if you put anything that is, well, hey, the government, and that's another thing. What did they do with these criminals that were metahumans that were born with these powers? Because if you look at these characters, at least from the film's point of view, these people were all basically victims who had these powers that basically they couldn't help. I mean, they were misfortunate. They were basically like, I'm trying to think. Now, the more that I think about it, these were people that had powers that, by most people, because they were different, not even just take the power. Well, the powers were the main thing, but you take away, or you take into the fact that these people had certain powers, and they were different. That they weren't social. They were social misfits because of their appearance, or because of what they could do. So what does the government do? They lock them up. And do they treat them with respect? No. I mean, if you look at it, Harley Quinn was put in a cage, a bird cage, basically, a glorified bird cage. What was it? I mean, this is this kind of stuff they're going to look at and say, hey, wait. You're making the government look really bad. Like, they treat people that are misfits like animals, like literally caged fucking animals. Like, I'm trying to think, Diablo, they put him in a metal bin and submerged him halfway in water so he couldn't start a fire. But like, literally, they put him in like an oversized canister or a drum. And that, like, it was almost like, what do you call that? Like in World War II with the prisoners of war, the cooler. It was like a glorified cooler, but it was worse. So these criminals weren't like, okay, you're locked up and you're in the lap of luxury. No, because like if you even listen to Rush, you hear about Guantanamo Bay. Well, those people were getting TV and exercise, and they were treated like they were in, like he put it, he called it Club Gitmo, but it was because it was more of a resort. Well, these criminals, so to speak, in this movie were treated like animals, literally like animals. Even the character who had the most humane aspect, they all actually did. Mainly Diablo and Will Smith's character of Deadshot. Deadshot actually turned himself in the movie. The character of Deadshot turned himself in because he was faced of doing what he does best, which is assassinate people, but his daughter stepped in the way. At least in the movie, I'm take this for the perspective. I'm taking this from the perspective of the film, and his daughter says, "Please don't shoot this man." I think it was Batman actually. He had the chance to kill Batman, and his daughter said, "Please don't do it, Daddy, don't do it." So he didn't do it. So here's a humane person. Well, a person. I don't want to use the word humane. Maybe that's not the right word, but a person who actually can. Who has the mentality that he won't do anything to lose his daughter, which means he has some type of, he's some sort of a human being. And he turns himself into the police. He literally turns himself into the police. So what do? They put him in this criminally insane asylum for the worst of the worst that are mentally insane as well. And they put him in a cinder block. So all this stuff, if you think about it, the government, we're about equality. We need to treat people equally, no matter what they did. Even like, hey, we got to. And the more I'm thinking about this, I'm actually answering my own question. We really need, we got to treat even the people over the Middle East as human beings. They're no different than us, even though they are like maniacs, but who have no heart towards any human life except their own. But they say this stuff, but in reality, they're worse than what they portray Republicans as being. Like, they are much, much worse. So, yeah, a lot of this is, I think what I'm gathering, what I'm thinking is probably what really pissed off these critics. Because personally, I mean, who's running the government right now? Well, who is in the government? Who's the one still in commander in chief? It's a Democrat. I'm sorry, I said Republican, and that is no Freudian slip. Trust me, that is just an accident. And I'm trying to see if I can get these different characters. Yeah, so what is it? I'm trying to still look up. Yeah, I mean, this is against, folks. This is against everything of their beliefs. This movie, I think. And I mean, again, I'm sure I'm 100% off, but I hate to tell you, in some ways, I think I'm not that far off. I think this is what really sticks in their groins. The fact there's some movie out there that this defies what these critics want to hear. Hey, it's just a freaking cartoon movie, movie based upon a cartoon and comic books, but yet it really just dug into their groin like hard. Even a movie like this. Okay, I'm trying to look at these characters. I'm still trying to figure out who this character, this woman was. I'm just going to have to cut to the chase because this is not working. But hey, let me just put this in real quick and see if I can figure this out because I'm actually going up to an hour right now. Let me see. Black woman. Oh, God, I'm not doing a good job, and it's getting late. Black woman in Suicide Squad. Because I like the woman's character, the actress who played this. Oh, okay, here we go. I know now, because I know if I've seen it. Her name's Amanda Waller. Says as the White Queen. So even that character in the comic book is not a cool person. Director Amanda Blake Waller, I'm sorry about that, is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics. The character first appeared in Legends. I wonder if that's like Legends of Tomorrow, if it's the same thing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know enough to actually answer that. So, but it's a real character, but yeah, it's a dark character too. It's a very dark character. And the fact that she is very corrupt and very crooked. So, but again, I don't think, hey, this is not going to go, in my opinion, this is what I think why the critics gave it such a shitty review, because the movie was not that horrible. I've seen superhero movies that were much, much worse than that, than Suicide Squad. But yet, this one has gotten, and it's a DC one too. So I don't know. Maybe these people are comic book readers and they just don't like it. Either way, I felt they were very harsh on this film, and I just couldn't figure out why. And obviously, there's many people who agree with me, because why else did this make so much money? I mean, trust me, people are, even these people that are living off the government, I like to joke about, where people, hey, they enjoy themselves. Even those people are limited on what they're going to spend money on. So, the people, when it comes to money and where they spend it, they're going to be very frugal when they're paying $20 or $15 or $10 for a film. So trust me. That's one thing I will tell you. Anyway, it was Screen Geek that I saw earlier tonight. This was like, okay, I'll just try to do a show on this. It's titled "Fans Plan on Suing Warner Brothers for Falsely Advertising." Excuse me, I keep on belching. Joker in the Suicide Squad. Many fans were left disappointed by the lack of Jarrad Leto's Joker in the summer's latest superhero blockbuster, Suicide Squad. However, one fan seems to have taken it one step further, so it's one person, by threatening to take the studio behind the film to court. It's like, well, you're not going to get very far with it, which I think they understand. I guess they're just trying to make a point. I don't know. The character seemed to dominate much of the film's marketing in the past few months, seemingly being portrayed as an inaugural part of the story. I don't think I pronounced that right, or mentioned, or said that word right. But it says, when the film was released, however, he was seemingly neglected to flashbacks and an occasional scene. So that is true. He was just in flashbacks, or like just a little bit here or there. And you can see where the cuts were so brutal that it just kind of jumped with Jarrad Leto. This is obviously due to a lot of his scenes finding their way to the cutting room floor based on the rumored list of deleted scenes, which you can find here, which it has a link on the ScreenGeek.net. So I'm not going to go through all these. I thought I posted these earlier. So it goes through them. I don't know if I want to read all these because there's a list. I think it's kind of interesting. I actually was hoping to see myself. I was hoping to see more of the Joker. You know, I was kind of like, I built up my interest in that. Now, it's funny, by the way, because I did put this in my mix of stuff, but even though I did not like Harley Quinn, I found her to be quite annoying, the character. Even though it was portrayed correctly, I still found her annoying. I'm still stuck on the fact that, Margaret Robbie looked incredibly hot in that costume. So they actually did now, Amazon. I got that coming up. I'm going to get back to that part. Amazon actually did a pre-order for the movie where you can get a bust of either Harley Quinn, I think, was it Harley Quinn or the Joker or whatever? Or I think it was somebody, I think it was Deadshot, actually. And it was like, yeah, Deadshot's cool, but Harley Quinn, and they're actually releasing so many different, what do you call it, action figures of Harley Quinn. They now have one now that's coming out next. They're all coming out next year, by the way. One of them, though, it's like you can order it now. It's like one of these, I'm trying to think. One of these, like one of these comic book geek websites, which is pretty funny because it actually makes sure to show you her butt on the action figure, that it really, like, she's bent over, and like the shorts that this action figure is wearing is actually even more up her ass than it was in the film. And it was like, God. So I'm not the only one who's obsessed with, I'm trying to think, Margaret Robbie's costume, because they've made so many different versions of Margaret Robbie now. Again, most of them are coming out next year. Then now they want one step further, and they're making like a what do you call it, an action figure of Margaret Robbie, where it's just like, basically you might as well they literally painted like a G-string on the back of her ass on this doll, this action figure. And then it goes one step further, because it's not Margaret Robbie's version of Harley Quinn. But I get these emails from FYE, and they said, and I forgot to check it out when I was down there. I was just curious because I couldn't find it. They didn't have a link to it, but FYE actually said, "Hey, if you want, we have a for sale." And I was curious, a life-size Harley Quinn, like literally, it's not a paper cutout, one of those paper cutouts. It's not that. It is actually really, what do you call it? It's an actual life-size, it's made of foam, they said, or something. So it's like a life-size. Actually, it's like 5'11", so it's taller than me. But it's the one more of Harley Quinn from the comic books, not from Margaret Robbie's version. And but it was like, okay, but it doesn't have a link, doesn't give you a price, so I had to look up elsewhere to find how much that thing costs. And I think you're talking like $1,200 or something. It's something really, really outrageous on the price. I don't know if I can find it real quick. Just you look for life-size Harley Quinn. That was my thing. I turned off my sound, but it's still going through. Life-size. And they're selling like a ton of them, too. No, these are just life-size Harley Quinn. Shop life-size Harley Quinn. Yeah, $1,300. They're actually selling from Margaret Robbie's version. You can at least buy the bat for like $35. Why you want one, I don't know. I mean, I like collecting certain things, but it all depends what it is. Of course, they charge you a shitload in. It's like an accurate version of Harley Quinn's baseball bat. Now, it's weird. One thing I forgot to mention the last time I was talking about the movie. One thing that was really interesting, at least something a little bit more lighthearted, was all these characters did get back their attire, like their costumes, so to speak, for these characters when they were released to do the dirty work for the government where they were expendable. So, yeah, it was funny, but Harley Quinn, she had like a chest of clothes where she could go through and pick out whatever she wanted to wear. So, what did her chest had? It had literally Harley Quinn's old costumes, which obviously weren't in the movie, but they were shown in the movie when she was going through the chest, which the main one that most people associate Harley Quinn with is the Harley Quinn character that Harley Quinn was portrayed in originally in Batman. So she pulls that out, the Harley Quinn costume that she's originally associated with. And, it was like she's looking at it, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll wear this. But she never does put it on. So I don't know. Maybe she did try it on and it just got cut out. I don't know. So anyway, I'm looking at the one place. It's actually that costume place called Spirit. It comes around Halloween, but it's around all year round. They actually have a 5-foot life-size Harley Quinn, because I think it's 5'9", actually. It says 5 foot, but I think it's 5'9". It says it weighs 26 pounds, material foam, rubber, and latex. $1,300, and it says hurry in because they only have 2 more left in stock, which, believe it or not, you know what that means? There is somebody out there who is spending $1,300 to buy Harley Quinn, a life-size doll. Now, if I could, I'd put it in my bed, and I won't say what I would do with it. But yeah, I'm seriously though. Yeah, they're actually selling life-size Harley Quinns. I saw one kind of looks more like a mannequin type like one that was on. I'm trying to think. I was somewhere. Maybe it was eBay or something. It was like, yeah, that'd be pretty funny. But But yeah, that one literally just looked like somebody dressed up a mannequin with clothes of a harlequin and called it a day. And that wasn't too cheap either. Of course, it wasn't $1,300 either, though. Yeah, I mean, it's just funny though. I guess if you have a big house and you have more money, now that would definitely be fit in the category my one friend says, Matt. You keep on saying, "Oh, you know why, Walter, you're into all this stuff because you're bored." Well, what about people who buy? We had this discussion, so I know her bring this up. Well, Walter, I already had this discussion with you. Yeah, you did. But why do people buy this stuff? Because, they're bored. Well, me more so, apparently, than others. I don't know. I mean, there's an awful lot of bored people out there, I'm telling you. I mean, some of it's just for fun. I mean, I guess if you're a diehard fan and you have the money, you're going to buy this stuff. That's the bottom line. So, that's what it seems to trickle down to. But sorry, I don't know. You know what happens? I turn off my sound; it picks it up elsewhere because I got a built-in sound on my what do you call it? On my monitor too, Apple monitor. So if I turn off the one sound, the other one just picks up automatically with no questions asked. So that's what kind of ruins it. So anyway. Is this Walter's conspiracy theory against Suicide Squad? No. Again, this is just for entertainment, my show. And it's just my speculation. I mean, is it right or it's wrong? I don't really know what to tell you. I'm just saying. I think probably this is probably what happened, why they don't like the film. I mean, it did kind of incorporate a little bit of some type of political view that does not fit the left. So, and they don't like that. They don't like that. So, anyway, folks, I'm going to go through a couple more of these stories because it's been a little over an hour. And an hour would have been more than enough for me tonight, quite honestly. I'm very tired, too. It's funny. I didn't notice it before because they really, really put a lot of flashiness on this now. Is the Suicide Squad official link to the movie? I think it looks actually pretty fucking cool. Now the thing is that when I look at it, it kind of reminds me more than just you know what it kind of reminds me of. I think the whole thing. Maybe that's what they were trying to go for, and I think that's why people like it because it has that nostalgic feel to the film. And what I mean by that, not that it reminds me close to like those 70s exploitation films. Well, the way they were kind of setting up the shots for the film and the quirkiness. Exploitation / Quentin Tarantino. Now, one person actually said that he liked about this more than Batman versus Superman. Is he basically said that this one guy, after we saw it on, pre-opening night, he said that this had a lot more action than Batman versus Superman, which I don't know. I thought both of them I liked both of them equally, well, slightly different level, but I did like both of them. And, oh, wow, I didn't know this. You can actually get a video game, it's, I guess it's free. It's called Suicide Squad Special Ops, and I guess it's like a freebie on for your iPhone and stuff like that, like a simple game. So I know it's stupid stuff. It's stuff when you have time to play the stuff, you're going to play it, and it's free, so it makes it even better. Yeah, but I did. I'm looking at the main page, and it's got that quirky flashiness. Exploitation feel. Now, one guy that came out said the opposite the first night we saw it than what the critics were saying. They said it had weak characters and a weak plot. No, it actually had strong characters, this guy said, which I agree with. The characters they spend most of the time. This was a setup because they're doing something different with Suicide Squad, making into from a comic book, with villains to a movie. So what did they try to do? They try to spend at least a decent amount of time, basically trying to make, tell you a little bit about the character base. So, yeah. So that's the thing. I think that's what, I don't know. That might have ruined it for people also in addition, because they have to give a little bit of story, like, okay, this is what's going on. This is what you're. Excuse me, I'm starting to fall asleep, folks. But I listen to myself. Oh, that's pretty bad. Well, I don't have to worry because it's going to come right off of any of my sources of media sources that I play this show on. So, yeah, anyway, you know what? Because it's getting pretty late. I'm going to cut whatever I said. I'm going to leave it go. And I'm just hoping that they do what they do with Batman versus Superman, because it would make more sense in Suicide Squad is release an extended version of the movie and put back Jarrad Leto's parts. I'd be happy with that. I really would. I prefer to see it on the big screen, but it's not going to happen probably. So I'll just take for what it's worth and, hope they come to their senses and put some of this stuff back in. Anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but just check out ScreenGeek.net because there is some information on the cutscenes from Jarrad Leto. I guess people would probably think the same way I am now. Make an extended version, put this stuff back in. We won't care. We just want to see it. It says description of extended Ace Chemical scene. Ace Chemical is where he actually becomes the Joker originally. The scene goes as follows. So it goes through that. So this is like one aspect that was cut. A lot of stuff was cut out in just that one scene. Joker points down towards the vats. Joker, there, I was born down there. Harley stares down. She desperately wants the same. Joker, would you die for me? Harley nods, yes. Joker, no. That's too easy. Would you live for me? Joker smiles, scaring her. Joker, will you embrace me and only me? Harley nods vigorously. Joker, will you bind your spirit to mine? Well, see, that's the thing, though. I think that was in the film, though, but they're saying that, I don't know. Maybe they don't know what they're talking about. But apparently, I've read numerous articles that there was a lot that was actually, omitted from the film. So I just kind of liked the fact that they took both, the old, apologize about that. There's no way I can turn this down. They took both the old and the new perspective of how Harley Quinn, sorry, I didn't want to turn it all the way down. Harley Quinn was made. You're going to hear a tweet. Let's see if it'll work. Yep, there it goes. I should just... yeah, okay, so there's my, Tuesday. I saw some really cool stuff. I never stopped to see very cool stuff that's coming out for Suicide. It's Entertainment Earth, by the way, where they have this. It's like probably very inappropriate is the best way to put it. Coming in March 2017, pre-order now. We will deliver on March 2017. It's actually the cheapest. It's much more on Amazon. Suicide Squad Harley Quinn SH Figures action figure, and they deliberately make sure you see her butt cheeks are really hanging out of that shorts. I mean, these were much smaller, and it's got her face on this action figure. But this particular action figure of Margaret Robbie, the one on this action figure of her face and her body, her ass cheeks are literally there's nothing barely keeping her cheeks in, and that's not even That's much worse than what she really wore. That's what's kind of funny. It's like $60. So that's beyond inappropriate, but it's kind of entertaining at the same time. But it's not coming out until next year. Now, the other thing they have, these actually look pretty cool. They got Margaret Robbie. They actually look pretty impressive, but they're not coming. Oh, wait, they're coming out this year. Margaret Robbie and a Jarrad Leto Joker Suicide Squad key chain. You can hold them on there. And it really kind of does. Well, Margaret Robbie looks more so. They're like $9 a pop, and they said August, so those actually look pretty impressive. Might just add those and see how much it would cost to send both of them. That was one thing it says pre-order this item, but it says coming. It's already out. It's supposed to be out. It says August 20th. It is August. I mean, some of this stuff is probably going to be worth actually absolutely nothing. But it's kind of cool. Sorry about that. The problem is Suicide Squad has just, with the merchandise they put out, it's just been so oversaturated now. It probably will, but they did that with years ago. They did that with Star Wars, and that stuff's actually worth something. Let me move my mic down while I try to figure out what this is all about. So, no, it didn't work. I don't even remember my stuff, but yeah, this one site, Entertainment Earth, they have some really cool stuff. Let's see if I can do this again. Forgive me for all this pausing. Just trying to type something. And otherwise, this show probably would have been over by now. Well, Walter, you shouldn't be buying all this stuff. I didn't say I was buying anything. I'm just being sarcastic, actually. It's amazing, by the way. It was funny tonight. I was like, oh, my God, this is so tempting. Let me pause this. Yeah, it was funny because I was actually on. I got a thing on Facebook that they know how to get to me. It's not that hard either. Trust me. I was on Facebook tonight. I was actually on it for like the whole night of my job. I had so little time to do anything that it was bad. But I actually got like 20 minutes break tonight for 8 hours because I was just so busy. And they sent me something when I go online. It's like, this is the worst fucking thing to do to me. Was this... Because I remember hearing about Jay Peterman. That's it. Jay Peterman. And they put on this stuff that's on sale for like a ridiculous price. It was like 70% off. It's like, please do not do this for me. To me. Please don't do this to me. So they had like... Because some of the stuff with Jay Peterman is really fucking cool. It reminds me back in the good old days when I used to go... what do you call it? When I used to love Banana Republic. It was like the same freaking thing. And it was like, oh, God, you don't do this to me. They had like $150 pants on sale for $50. Like a tennis sweater looked really cool for like the same price. It was like, oh, no, don't do this to me because... it's very tempting. So, and it actually was. I'm trying to pull something out of my drawer real quick. And not my pants either. So, yeah, I was like, wow. You're getting stuff that would cost like normally, because Jay Peterman stuff is god-awful expensive, but they ran a sale that was so incredibly cheap. It was like, no. Con! It was like, I'm going to be tempted. I got so many clothes now I don't even wear. It's like, it's going to be stuff. I bought some stuff from J. Peterman before that I love, but what was I going to say? It's just, I don't know. That I don't wear it, though. I guess because I got like these pair of like, they were the jungle fatigue pants. Kind of remind me like the old Banana Republic ones. I used to wear those all the time at my job. And it's like, God, I love these. So I wore them some meet and greet with somebody at a comic book convention, and the person was like, just like a total ass to me. It was like, oh, I know what it was. Is when I went and seen, Billy Piper, and she was like a total smacked ass to me. It was like, wow, I can't believe this. And it was I wore these pants like, oh, these look kind of cool, Hey, maybe it should be not not that the clothes would mean anything, but I got that impression in my head. That's that for me. That's my whole thing with OCD. That I assume I affiliate that piece of garment now to her treat me like a piece of shit. And plus, I paid a lot of money to see her, like literally a lot of money. So now I put in my head that piece of garment with Billy Piper, like, and again, it's an OCD thing with me. I have obsessive compulsive disorder. So what do I think of is the way I wore these pants that I got from J. Peterman, and the way that Billy Piper treated me when I had those on. It's like the first and last time I wore these pants, because I just like too afraid to even touch them anymore. It's like they're jinx now from Billy Piper. Like, that's not even close to being anything that makes any sense, but that's just the way I think. So, I really just don't have the cash to spend. I mean, I got a lot of clothes. You know what? It's funny. I don't know if you're one of these people. You buy all these different types of clothes. Like the stuff I got from Hot Topic, by the way, I actually do wear that stuff. I'm actually wearing a T-shirt I got from, about Suicide Squad and stuff. But I got it. I mean, they got some cool stuff there. But again, I'll wear that stuff. And it's not that I'm not wearing it. I am wearing it. So that part's cool. But overall, guess what I normally wear, folks? I just wear jeans and T-shirts. Now, when I first started where I work, people are always impressed the way I dress, because I always used to, because I liked their clothes. They got really bad now. I used to religiously shop at Banana Republic. I worked at Banana Republic for a while. I used to love the old store with the safari things. Then when they went to all that New York style clothes I used to wear, I bought those. I worked there. I loved wearing the clothes. It was fun. And now that it's got really shitty, and I stopped buying there. So, yeah. I've gone to like dress in like really fancy clothes every day, just not giving a shit, I guess. When you get older, I love buying clothes. Like, that's my weakness, is clothes and buying toys, but at 50. But, I don't know. It's just, now I buy stuff and I don't wear it at all. So, well, I you know what? I get that all probably my mother. My mother's the same way. She bought stuff and she's got tags on there and she gives it away or throws it out. And it's still got the tags on there from the store. And you don't want to do that. Anyway, I'm not going to read this, but I'm going to kind of get a little bit into it. Movies.mxdwn.com. Jarrad Leto addresses the Joker screen time in Suicide Squad. And it's like a quote, so that's why it kind of caught my attention. There's more to it. Oops, make sure. God, I'm going to have a 2-hour show. Whatever they asked him about, I guess, the cutscenes, he said, that's a good question. I have no idea. I think he probably went and had a drink or something. Stretched. Once you get blown up in a helicopter, your muscles get a little tight. So I'm not reading the into this quote. I'm just reading the quote. I thought it would be a little bit more direct, so I apologize. Were there any that didn't get cut? I'm asking you, were there any that didn't get cut? Meaning that most of his stuff got cut. There were so many scenes that got cut from the movie, I couldn't even start. I think that the Joker, we did a lot of experimentation on set. We explored a lot. There was so much that we shot that it's that's not in the film. If I die anytime soon, it's probably likely that it will surface somewhere. That's the good news about the death of an actor, is all that stuff seems to come out. So, let's see. It says a role Rolling Stone's Peter Travers described a glorified cameo. Leto spoke to IGN regarding his scene time. That was the part I didn't read before. I'm still kind of not going right into it. Screen time in the finished film, and more than implied that many of his scenes were cut from Suicide Squad. Leto said when he was asked about the cut scenes, and then it goes into what I just read, not very well. So, well, let's see what it says. The very last part of this segment, by the way, says director David Ayer or something. It's Ayer. How do you pronounce that? Suggests that a cut of Suicide Squad featuring nearly 10 minutes of deleted scenes may be unearthed eventually, perhaps when the film hits Blu-ray, which I'm hoping for. I was hoping more than 10 minutes, so. Yet, he seemingly remains coy on whether or not they will feature more of Leto's The Joker. See, I'd like to see that. I'm willing to pay just to see this stuff, on a Blu-ray extended edition. I'm going to look for that now. Just so many cool things on Suicide Squad. I got to stop looking because Hot Topic had the best selection of things, so, what was I looking for? Oh, here we go. Yeah, Amazon.com, putting this up now. Suicide Squad Amazon exclusive Harley Quinn figurine, Blu-ray, DVD, and ultraviolet pack. See, they don't even know what's going to be on the Blu-ray yet. But that was a pre-order in your car. It's $117. So I did it for shits and giggles because honestly, I did not do that, and I loved Batman versus Superman, and I didn't even remotely get this close. So I just put it in. I did it for shits and giggles again because they're not going to charge you until it physically gets close to coming out. So what I did was, the other one actually has Deadshot, and it's actually Deadshot with his mask on, which looks cool. But again, they're $117. They're not dropping a bucket. When they get closer to releasing copies, our special limited editions at the stores, because probably eventually soon, Best Buy will do something similar. And it'll be much cheaper, like $30. I'll just, cancel it out for that. Now, I like this, but I just didn't want to spend the money. They had a really cool one. It's an Amazon exclusive, and it's still really expensive because the movie just came out recently. Also $117 is Batman versus Superman with either Batman, which that one looks really good. It looks really, real. Actually, the Superman one looks really cool. They're just god-awful expensive, though. But these are exclusives. Well, actually, that one they did put. So there was an extended edition of the movie. They did put the ultimate edition of the movie in these box sets. It's just, again, it was just really freaking pricey. Because you can buy similar figures of these figurines that come in the box set, with the Amazon exclusives. Not exactly the same. Similar ones, and they're much, much cheaper. Like $50 as opposed to paying all that extra money. They actually got one that's really nice. Well, that one's $100. So, of Ben Affleck's Batman, which I still really liked. Ben Affleck's Batman. I'm like one of the few people who really liked him. And again, I've been a big DC fan. Years ago, I remember, because I have it somewhere, I actually kind of destroyed. I got the limited edition Man of Steel Collector's Edition Blu-ray, and it came in a special with the S on the chest deal with a steel box. And I'm looking at it now, and you know what? I had it out on display for a while, and then after a while, I just threw it in the closet. So it was kind of, obviously, kind of a waste. So, I mean, some of this stuff, I mean, how many collector's items I get? Oh, well, I'll always be buying them, I guess, so I can't really say much. They're fun to have. It's just, unless you really keep them protected, you're kind of wasting your money, obviously. You know what? I'm going to talk about this now because I have it up. I had to get this cheap movie because it reminded me, it was a movie called, some guy put it up on Facebook. He's into all these horror movies. I think he's actually Italian, maybe Spanish, I don't know, whatever. But he puts up, like, the coolest stuff. So I put up, like, I just got this movie, and he was recommending this movie on his Facebook page. It's like, dude, I've never even heard of this. He put up a trailer, actually, for this movie called Burial Ground, Nights of Terror. So it was like, dude, I'll rent this movie because I just want to see what it looks like. You can't really rent it, so I ended up buying it, like, for $10 or whatever, $12. It's a classic film, I guess, but it's Italian film, by the way. It's actually in Italian. There's none of that nonsense, which I actually like that nonsense when they make it in English, like with the bad voiceovers on these Italian films. So, actually the place I got it was here in Conchi. So I would have just picked it up because Conchi is right down the street from where I live. This place that actually sold the film. So, you know what the thing that sucks? Even though it's right around the house, I guarantee you they're not going to ship it out until the day before they're supposed to, hey, you got a whole month to get this film. Well, guess what? Yeah, because it says estimated delivery August 17th. It's like it's right fucking around the corner from my house. I could drive there and pick it up. Why is it going to take 3 weeks to send it when you're right down the street from where I live? I love that. Now, if they're like in California, I'll get it the next day. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I was watching the trailer, and it reminded me of this Spanish director, which I loved his films about the blind dead. I'm going to look that up, but I'm not going to be able to mention his name because I'm really bad with names. Because I bought that, like, for $30. I bought the whole series of The Blind Dead, and I love those movies. Like, I won't watch them a million times, but I picked them up, like, at a decent price. It came in a nifty casket box, literally. Yeah, here it is, Blind Dead Collection. Now it went up a little bit. I paid a lot less than that. Now it's like $38. I got it for like $20 or $30. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 movies and then a documentary, which I don't think I've ever watched a documentary yet. I'm trying to think. I'm not going to even mention this guy's name, but just look for The Blind Dead. And I mean, these are like kind of, not spectacular movies, but there was just something about them that really appealed to me. I really liked these films. So anyway, this movie is by literally an Italian director, and it reminds me of the Blind Dead series. Now, the Blind Dead, honestly, they weren't really gory. They were entertaining. They were like simple zombies, not a lot of gore fest. Well, this one like actually incorporates that whole idea or that look of the Blind Dead, but unfortunately, they do add a lot of freaking gore too. So it's got a little bit of everything in there. So I got that. It just sucks because it's like right here in Conchi, and I live in Norristown, so Norristown and Conchi are walking distance from each other, but yet they're going to fuck with me and make me wait that long. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I'm sorry. So, sorry, I'm doing some more window shopping at Hot Topic. I got to stop doing that. I'm going to be so broke. How broke were you going to be? Well, I'm going to be so broke. There's no other way to put it. I'm just going to be fucking broke. Well, Walter, there's a very simple way around that. You just don't spend money. Yeah, you tell me and half the other million people out there, billion people out there, that they should be spending money. I know it makes no sense, but that's just me. When do I make sense? I make stupid shows with stupid comments with your stupid face. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where I came from. Yeah, I got so many different stories. Everybody's like now, well, obviously I am, in a hoopla about Jarrad Leto, because there's one from comicbookmovie.com, and it is going on 4 o'clock or after, so I'm going to end this soon. Rumor, a list of unconfirmed deleted scenes from Suicide Squad has surfaced. An eagle-eyed user on Reddit has seemingly discovered and or compiled an expansive unofficial list of all of the rumored scenes that were cut from David, whatever, how you say his last name, Ayers or whatever, critically mangled Suicide Squad updated. Now, this list is like pretty long. I'm not going to read it. Yeah, oh my God. It's long. Trust me on this one. So look at comicbookmovie.com for that one. So, yeah, people are in uproar about that. I hope it's just enough that people finally say, you know what, maybe we better put these scenes back in. We're tired of hearing people bitch and complain about how everything was cut out of Suicide Squad. Well, yeah, you know what, no offense. It really was cut out of Suicide Squad. So you're not hiding anything. Can't hide the truth. I don't know. There's all this fucking cool stuff, though. I'm telling you. Way too much. Did I tell you, folks, tonight? This is another thing that's got myself into, this is something I actually use on a daily basis, though. Is my Beats headsets. Like I use the ones for my radio show, and I got one I carry to work all the time. I wear them when I have my breaks. So here I'm at work, and this is the biggest complaint, by the way, about these Dr. Dre Beats, is that they break real easily. And, just be careful with them. Here tonight I'm, opening up my headset to listen to, some voicemails, because I also use them to listen to my voicemails at home and at work. And it snaps. The fucking thing snaps. Now, those I actually bought used on eBay that were in, decent shape. And it fucking snaps. So, bottom line, I was not a happy camper. In fact, I was quite pissed off. Yeah, so I don't know. But I found them on I actually bought, I think now, most of my headsets that I still have. The ones I use for my podcast, the one I keep up, for work. I found one at Best Buy that was refurbished. It was actually a decent price. And they are a little bit on the, expensive side, the Beats, but I do notice a difference on the sound quality. I can hear it right away. So, anyway, folks. Yeah, I'm almost at 2 hours. Just making sure that I didn't miss anything. I actually don't think I did. So, and, people don't believe me. I think they probably will now, but I honestly try to stay clear of certain things when it comes to work stuff and things like that. Like the one friend thinks, he's used to me when I'm on a roll of complaining about my job. And it's like, you know what? That's part of my thing. What if I have something to complain about, my podcast is about complaining. But what people don't understand, it is not my whole life. So, I try to look for other things to entertain myself or entertain others with. I try to entertain others. I don't think I'm that entertaining, so maybe majority of people out there, obviously by my ratings, think the same way. But, yeah, I mean, my whole thing is it's not trying just to get a rise out of people by just constantly complaining about things. That's not my intentions at all. So, for some reason, I guess he thinks that's what my, oh, well, you're not, that's all you ever do is complain. Matt, I'll just say it's you. But no, honestly, it seems that way, that all I want to do is complain about work. But honestly, I really don't. I prefer not to have to complain about things about work and find other things to focus on. But I don't know. So anyway, that being said, I'm going to call this a wrap. Actually, it was funny. I didn't mention this, but I will mention this like last minute things that I come up in my mind. I remember Rush saying today, and unfortunately, I haven't seen it. So hopefully, maybe if my friend Matt listens to this, because a friend at work actually brought this up too, and it was funny. The one friend I have at work, he actually asked me, which I felt very honored by. He needed somebody to be sign some documentation that he is going for a mortgage for like a summer home. And he asked me, Walter, I have just a favor to ask. And to me, honestly, I was very flattered by this. But believe it or not, he asked me, can you just sign on the witness line that, you verify that a witness had, it doesn't mean anything, really. It's just you need somebody to... I mean, I was even joking with him. I said, you probably could even got a monkey to do this or somebody else. It was like, yeah. But he says, he actually asked me, and I felt very honored, can you, basically sign as a witness? Not a co-sign, but a witness. It basically said witness who verified that, hey, you just need somebody to sign the paper. And it was for a loan he's trying for a summer home. It was like, dude, hey, I'm impressed that you felt comfortable enough to get me out of anybody you could have gotten. You decided to pick me. So I felt very honored by that. But anyway, I'm kind of going astray from the point. But he discussed a little bit. It was like, yeah, I heard that today. I actually heard, and I saw it online. Actually, I put it on my Facebook page, where it was supposed to be like, I heard it on Rush today after I saw it on Facebook, where there was this speech that Donald Trump gave. And he was basically talking about making pretty much like what Reagan did back when Reagan was in, what was that, like, that must have been, God, I forget now. I'm such an idiot. I would say like back in the 80s when Reagan was president, one of his big things, or what he did, what actually helped him get elected, was he actually made some like major tax cuts, which really benefited a lot of people. So he's talking about his plans for tax cuts, Donald Trump. And apparently he got applauded for most of it. The only thing he did get applauded from, which makes sense to me, I don't know why not to other people, but it makes sense to me, was he got booed, though, when he says he's not going to give like these, or he's also going to incorporate these, I think, these major tax cuts to the rich. And I kind of could see why, though. I can see why, because big business and stuff, or I don't know if it's like big business, but certain businesses are considered basically that 2% of the rich. Is it like 2%? So by offering these companies tax cuts, you're actually, believe it or not, I can see why he would offer that. See, people don't see the whole picture. They say, well, this is just one individual who's got all this money and we don't know where he got it from. Well, that's the thing. These are probably either, my opinion, they could be easily mom and pop companies, or you never know. It could be that or something else. But you don't become rich just like yeah, there is some of that. There's some old money that people, they call it old money, that they didn't do anything to get what they have. But most of these people, how they become rich is probably because they are, small business owners, company owners. Well, if you're extremely rich, then yeah, you're probably own a company or whatever, or higher up. So, in my opinion, the last thing you want to do is, get those type of people pissed off and say, oh, well, you're not going to get a tax break, but everybody else is going to get one. Because what are they going to do? If they're a business owner, they're going to say, well, fine, then we're going to have to just either A, cut more jobs. If you're a bigger company, then we're just going to have to move our business elsewhere. I mean, people don't see that. And, what do I see around even where I live? I see tons of people that have, like, I went down a stretch of road just yesterday, going towards, was that yet? Yeah, I think it was yet. Well, actually, it was the day before yesterday now. But I went down towards, I think it's Oaks, down the road from where I live. And what do I see is the homes all in a row were all up for sale. And, and guess who moves in there, by the way? I hate to tell you, but it's a lot of people. I live in Pennsylvania, but a lot of people from New York. They're like basically just take these homes over. Or whatever else. People with tax breaks probably too. But, yeah, but this is going to be the outcome. Honestly, when you take employment away from people, when you don't offer these tax breaks to these quote unquote this rich, you're not giving them the same tax breaks you're offering to other people, which are probably again business owners. That's how you make money. Is that you're like, for the people I could relate to, or I'm actually thinking of. I'm not relate. It's not the word. Would be like Rush Limbaugh, Howard Stern. Those guys are worth millions of dollars, like hundreds of millions of dollars. How do they get all? Well, do they just get that because of just who they are? No, because they have people who work for them too. Now that's like not a very good example. I understand, but I'm hoping that it makes a little sense. So when you say, "Oh, we're going to actually raise the taxes for these rich people," you're actually only hurting yourself even more, because what's that doing? It's putting people out of work, because there's people underneath these people who are, if they're offered these tax breaks, you're giving them an incentive to hire more people. And most of these people that are rich, like us again, they're not just wealthy, independently wealthy people. They work for somebody. People work for them, and you're basically taking that away from other people. You're taking their job away by saying, hey, wait a minute. Because the next thing that's going to happen is, like, if their taxes go up, and not down, but they go up even higher, then look around you. What's going on? Well, guess what? These jobs are disappearing, or getting downsized, and people are on the streets. So yeah, okay. Oh yeah, this is not right. You can't raise the taxes. You have to raise the taxes. On the rich, because they're the ones that are destroying our job. No, the ones who are actually, I hate to tell you, who are ruining your job is the government raising these wealthy people their taxes, because they can't afford to keep you employed underneath of them. So I don't know how else to say it, but rude awakening. Yeah, the people that you're going after are, you're literally, a better analogy is you are biting the hand that feeds you. That's the best way to put it. So the way you don't do that is by giving them an incentive. So look what companies do, by the way. I'm going off too far because it's going to be 2 hours now. Look what's going on. Companies, big companies, even companies I work for, they see this thing that says, oh, I can get a tax break down south. I can get a tax break if I go move out to out to the West Coast. Oh, I can get a tax break if I move my business down to Mexico. So what are they doing? They're moving down to these places. They're moving to all these places. So how do you get these jobs back in our hands that we have these places to go to? Well, plain and simple, you give big business companies, these extremely wealthy people that are robbing you blind, supposedly, you give them tax breaks. They're going to keep the jobs here. Plain and simple. No ways around it. That's just the way it is. So, think before you react or whatever, but I don't think people realize this. So anyway, by the way, it was funny. I was going to use this one picture or whatever you want to call it the other day for my thing, and I did, and I used the one because I talked about Suicide Squad, which I did again, but I'm going to use this picture I failed to use the other day. And folks, it is 2 hours. It's much longer than I wanted. It's like 4:30, so I'm not going to go to bed until 5, 6, 7, 8. Just kidding. So everyone, I hope I didn't make this too boring for people. Pissed about my headset breaking tonight. My work headset did not make me a happy camper. But thanks for listening if you do, and hope you enjoy my show. This is Walter from iWalter. And yes, is signing off for now. Thanks.